Answer, boilerplate question. He is right. We do talk about that with Lamar Jackson, Jason, every single year. So as we size up a new staff taking on a quarterback who's had a lot of regular season success, but has not been able to get to the Super Bowl just yet, what are fair expectations for Lamar Jackson with this new coaching staff in year one?
Super Bowl.
Yep.
I get married the first time, and me and my first wife don't work out, and I get remarried the second time. It's not for it to be exactly the same. Like, you're moving on. You're moving to something that you're assuming is going to be better. So when they fired John Harbaugh and they brought in Jesse Minter, the expectation was he was going to be able to get them over the hump. Why am I going to say, all right, well, in year one, we just expect you to get back to the playoffs, and then we'll worry about the next 2 or 3 years down the line. Then we'll try to win a Super Bowl. No, like, you have a 2-time MVP in your building that, for all intents and purposes, he's locked in. He's ready to go. Courtney, I love the fact that you said voluntary, because we make a big deal of players showing up to things that they don't have to show up to in the offseason. But Lamar's there. He's all in. It's a brand new offense. So, yes, the expectation is going to be for them to win now and to be able to get to the playoffs and perform. And that's not just Lamar Jackson. You brought in Jesse Minter, who is a defensive-minded head coach, who is a play caller, to come and uplift that side of the ball. You signed Anthony Weaver as your defensive coordinator. You're expecting this team to go out there and win. That is the expectation. Get to the Super Bowl. Do something that you haven't been able to do.
I talked to Jesse Minter last week at the owners' meetings, and we were talking about Lamar and what he can do this year. And the point that Jesse made, and I think it's well made, is that the improvements he's going to make are very, very marginal.
Yeah.
He is an MVP caliber quarterback. And I think that we focus too much this time of year, and Zay Flowers kind of hinted at it. Is Lamar going to be ready? Is Lamar going to take another leap? He's going to play at an MVP level. It's the guys around him I'm more worried about. Are they going to be able to rush the passer by just adding Trey Henderson? I got news for you. All these conspiracy theories about Max Crosby, the Ravens ended up with a worse player. He's worse against the run. Max Crosby is one of the best culture guys in football. Yeah. I just feel like this idea that somehow they were playing 4D chess and they were intentionally sabotaging the physical and all that, that's far-fetched to me. You'd rather have Max Crosby on the roster.
Sure.
And so are they going to be able to play defense in the front seven? Is a guy like Malachi Starks, who was drafted out of Georgia as safety last year, is he going to be able to take a leap and free up Kyle Hamilton to be one of the best players in all of football, which I believe he can be? That, to me, is the bigger question. I'm worried about the other 52 guys. I am not worried about Lamar Jackson. I'm happy he went to voluntary workouts. I'm happy with the statement that made. But I just don't think that focusing on Lamar Jackson for this Ravens team is smart. I don't think that focusing on Josh Allen for the Bills is smart. I don't think focusing on the Bengals with Joe Burrow is smart. I think it's the other guys who matter more in those situations.
Well, the quarterback's always going to draw the eyeballs, especially when these are voluntary workouts. Keep reiterating that. They don't have to be there. But if your quarterback isn't there, and the quarterback makes everything go. We were talking about this with Myles Garrett. Like, he's not at off-season workouts. He's also a pass rusher.
Yeah.
See quarterback, get quarterback. Well, if you don't have your quarterback there, then the offense with a new offensive coordinator can't be at full go. And it's as much of full go when they're in shorts right now doing workouts. But it's about the team-building aspect. He's QB1. He's the leader of your group. With a new coaching staff, an offensive coordinator in Declan Doyle, who's his age, who put out that statement, very pointed statement in February saying, if you have championship caliber expectations, you want to win a championship, you need to start building that camaraderie. Lamar Jackson clearly answering the call right now, even though he doesn't have to be there. But he is. It's different than years past, and we'll see if this ultimately changes anything for him going into the 2000s.
Yes, there's so many news stories and headlines throughout the course of the offseason. Some of them become played out. Some of them just don't make sense. Right now, Giants come out. Dexter Lawrence requests a trade. We all want to talk about landing spots for Dexter Lawrence. Where is he going to be? See, the one thing about Dexter Lawrence, nicknamed Sexy Dexy, when you make a sack or you make a play and you're going there and you're moving the hips and you're getting all into it, that is meant to be in New York City. It's like a Broadway play. A nose tackle getting pressure on the quarterback, but also taking on double teams to stop the run. John Harbaugh coming in as a head coach, you don't want to get rid of that guy. Dexter Lawrence does not leave the New York Giants. All right, on to that. Shregs, you can relate.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, where is he going? Is he coming back to Pittsburgh? Can we stop talking about it? Let the man make his decision. He's talking to Mike McCarthy. They're having conversations. Newsflash, He's coming.
That's it. Don't
Just
spoil
wait for it to happen, whether it's now, off-season workouts, whether it's right before training camp. Aaron Rodgers will be QB1 week 1. We don't have to keep talking about it. Let's continue to move on. Lamar Jackson made storylines, history on Monday. He showed up to voluntary workouts that are optional, that are not required, that were collectively bargained for players to be able to have a choice where they want to work out. So can we stop talking about whether Lamar Jackson, whether Myles Garrett, or anybody else is showing up to voluntary off-season workouts? All right, the next one is brought to you from my 10-year-old son. Every time he comes home from school right now, he comes home, he's like, Daddy, where's A.J. Brown getting traded to? Is Max Crosby still on the Las Vegas Raiders? Yeah, son, they're still on their teams. They haven't been traded. I know you were watching sports TV all night long. You couldn't go to sleep. And all they kept talking about is where these guys are going to be traded. For right now, they are on their respective teams. And if a trade happens, we'll chime in. Just go to X. It'll be right there. Schefter will be telling you all about how it went down. All right, the last one and the best one. I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Eagles, they didn't win in the playoffs last year. They're probably never going to be good again. And the reason is Jalen Hurts stinks. We're now blaming Jalen Hurts for why the Eagles can't get back to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, the quarterback that is a Super Bowl MVP that performed really well the first time he went to the Super Bowl was a runner-up for the MVP that same season. He now is the source of all the problems that are going on in Philly. I've been home for like a week. I haven't been on TV, and I've sat there. I'm just walking up with my remote, and my wife looked at me, and I was just like, turn this thing off, and I'm slamming it against the TV screen. These are the things that just make me want.
You know, you just effectively ruined every A block we have planned for the next several months. What are you doing, J-Mac? These are things we have to talk about.
They don't have me on the show, those A blocks, so it doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
I'll be watching.
Fair enough. Let's bring in Ben Solak and Kevin Clark. Kevin, I know you are a TV enthusiast. Your thoughts on this list and what really upsets Jason McCourty?
The Rodgers thing in particular. They hired Mike McCarthy. What move do you think? They've backed themselves into a corner. There's no other quarterback available. They're not going to draft Ty Simpson. So, yeah, we can stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. Will he, won't he? He's going to be back. And then I totally agree with you on Jalen Hurts. This idea that somehow he's not, okay, fine. He's not Burrow, Mahomes, Josh Allen. That's fine. That doesn't mean he's 30th, 31st. It doesn't mean he's Nathan Peterman, Kenny Pickett. No, he's a quarterback who can win a Super Bowl. There's not many of those.
Sorry about that, Nathan. He's somewhere.
Nathan Peterman's at home. Like, what did I do? You've done a lot of work on the Philly side of the ball, and of course on this offense. The Jalen Hurts of it all. We know Mannion's coming in. Like, what do you make of it, man?
Yeah, I'll stand here alone on this side where I buy a lot of the Jalen Hurts narrative. I really do. Because over 4 different offensive coordinators, we've seen the exact same offense with the exact same issues. It's because of the quarterback. He doesn't throw to the middle of the field. They got to be able to be in the gun to involve him in the quarterback running game. But he didn't even really run the football last year, and not so effectively even when he tucked the football. And so, to me, we're seeing that defenses know what Jalen can and can't do. They know how they want to play Philadelphia. And now as the offensive line deteriorates, potentially A.J. Brown gets out of there, the quarterback needs to hold on to more. So for me, this is a season where I need to see elevation from Jalen Hurts. I need to see him do something in the offense under Sean Mannion that he hasn't done previously. Otherwise, defenses will keep playing the Eagles the same way. The rest of the roster will deteriorate, and it's going to be harder to build those Super Bowl champions in Philadelphia.
J-Mac, what can he do to shut us all up and have us stop talking and critiquing Jalen Hurts?
Win football game. I think at the end of the day.
But he's done that.
He won a Super Bowl.
Well,
there's other players on the team.
What are you going to do?
Absolutely. And to my point, to what Ben just talked about, he talked about 4 different offensive coordinators. Throughout all 4 of those offensive coordinators, the one thing Philly has continued to do is win football games. We gave Sam Darnold a ton of credit for being a Super Bowl champion, being the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, and making the right decisions in the plays when necessary. Although he wasn't a top 5 quarterback in the league, he had his team at the Super Bowl and won the game. Jalen Hurts continues to do that week after week. Can we criticize him for some of the things he can't do? Absolutely. We can challenge him to do those things, but we can't act as though he's the only reason.
I will say this. Jeremy Fowler puts together a list of the top 10 quarterbacks, and it's from 50 different decision makers around the league every summer. I am fascinated to see where Jalen Hurts comes in on the list this year.